Are you looking for a simple side dish to serve with just about anything? Today I'm going to teach you how to make one of my family's favorites, which is smashed potatoes. It's kind of like a baked potato that you take to the next level, that gets brown and crispy. And it starts with potatoes. I prefer to use Yukon Gold potatoes when I do smashed potatoes. There's something about the texture. They're not quite as starchy as the russets, but also their skins are a little bit thinner. Russet potatoes tend to have a little bit thicker skin and they don't work quite as well in smashed potatoes as the Yukon Golds do. I'm already scrubbed these, and then you're just going to poke holes in the skin in several places. And this is really important because if you don't poke holes in the skin when you bake these, the steam will build up inside and your potato will explode and make a giant mess in your oven. Ask me how I know. After you have poked holes in the potatoes, the one thing you want to look at is you want your potatoes to be of uniform size, give or take. But look at this. I have one potato that's really big and one potato that's kind of small. So I'm going to have them all be about the same size by cutting this big potato in half. The full recipe on my website is for 1.5 pounds of potatoes, but this recipe is so simple that you can easily make more or less potatoes depending upon the amount of people that you're feeding in your home. Once you have poked holes in the skin, you're going to put these directly on the rack in your oven at 400 degrees for an hour. The potatoes are going to bake, and then you're going to want to pull them out of the oven, and we're going to do the next step, which is the smashing. When you pull your baked potatoes out of the oven, switch the oven from 400 to broil, and make sure that the top rack is about 8 to 10 inches from the heating element of the broiler. You don't want it up really close to the broiler because it'll cause your potatoes to burn. So we have here just a plain baking sheet. And what you're going to do is you're going to put about 1 tablespoon of oil on the bottom. I like to use olive oil for this. You could use avocado oil. I've even done it with ghee. Ghee is a clarified butter and it doesn't burn at high temperatures, and it makes these smashed potatoes have a really good buttery flavor. But ghee is kind of a specialty ingredient that a lot of people don't keep on hand. Today I'm just doing this with olive oil. I'm not spreading all the way to the edges because I only have 1.5 pounds of potatoes, which is about 6 of these Yukon Gold potatoes. I'm going to space these potatoes out. These have cooled a little bit, but you can do it straight when they're hot onto this baking sheet. And you're going to take a potato masher and you're just going to smash them, which is going to cause some of the insides of the potato to kind of spread out. And that is going to be the best part of these smashed potatoes. So I'm just going to smash these 6 potatoes onto the cookie sheet. And then we're going to put them in the oven under the broiler. They're going to broil under the broiler for about 12 to 14 minutes. Now, anytime you are using the broiler, it's not the time to be multitasking. You want to stay close to your oven because when things are under the broiler, they can go from perfect to smoky house and burnt in next to no time. Okay, so I have these all smashed. You can see how I've got some of these fluffy bits. Sometimes I even like open them up a little bit to spread out so I have a greater surface area, because it's the surface area of these potatoes that is going to get crispy and yummy. I like to spray the tops then with an olive oil cooking spray. And I use a heavy hand with this. I'm not going too light. The reason I'm using cooking spray rather than just putting a little bit more of the regular olive oil is I find that the cooking spray gets an even layer of oil. You're going to sprinkle it with about 1/2 teaspoon of coarse sea salt, and then put these under the broiler, again, 8 to 10 inches from the element, for about 12 to 14 minutes. Stay by the oven and watch them. When they get all brown and a few parts start to get a little bit black, it is time to take them out. They're ready to serve right away, and they make a perfect side dish for anything that you're serving. My family had it the other night with a brisket, and oh my goodness, it was so good. The full recipe is at feedyourfamilytonight.com, and if you ever have questions, I'm always happy to answer them. Join me in the Feed Your Family Tonight Facebook group.